Happy Tuesday and welcome back to TBB,
aka the Bestie Bonus.
I'm Morgan.
I'm Taylar, and this week we're doing My Spiral, and the question of the week is, what is one cartoon character that you are weirdly attracted to?
I need to think about this.
Mine is Sully from Monsters, Inc.
Yeah. I love that.
Because I don't know why. Like,
Mr. Incredible, he's kind of fine.
Well, that's a good one.
So is Elastigirl.
Yeah. The girl for me was the head girl of the Hex Girls, and we're gonna put a spell on you from Scooby-Doo Vampire Island. No, not Vampire Island.
Oh,
Australia.
The
yeah,
car girls?
the girl in the front. I thought she was so hot. I was like, oh, she's so hot. Okay, Prince Eric, both cartoon and live version. The saber-toothed tiger from Ice Age.
I get that.
It. I see that.
I see that one too.
Doc from the Cars movie. Yeah,
Doc could get it.
Yeah, he could. Danny Phantom. We got a ton of Danny Phantom. Yeah, 100%.
Gotta catch them all.
Gotta catch them all. Bluey's dad. He has some fucking patience with the kids' tantrums and shit. Scar from Lion King. Flynn Rider, Aladdin, Prince Naveen. I see Prince Naveen.
I see 100%. Aladdin. I do like Aladdin, but I love Jasmine.
I do see. Yeah. The fox from Zootopia. Yeah. He could get it. Puma from Lion King. Meg from Hercules. Yep.
Yeah, Meg.
100%.
But so could Hades. He was kind of
definitely
hot when he was being crazy
for some reason,
like with the blue flames
and our toxic traits. Yeah, exactly. Low key Gru. I like my men sassy.
Oh, Gru from Minions.
Yeah. Prince Eric, Aladdin, Simba, Alvin from the Chipmunks. Tarzan was my first crush.
Dude, Alvin was kind of a slay.
I know.
He always has his hand in his pocket.
Yeah, he kind of was. Tarzan's dad, Dimitri from Anastasia. I loved that movie.
Mm-hmm. The big glasses, right? Am I thinking of the right person?
Yep. The Tramp from Lady and the Tramp. I get that 100%.
Yeah.
Shang from Mulan. Yeah. The dragon can get it too. Yeah.
It's so could be what's his name? Mulan's dad.
Yeah.
He's overlooked.
King Triton or the Hex Girls. Yes. Yes. I get Triton too. I would too. Jessica Rabbit. Let's see. The Beast. Kronk in I'm sorry, wait, there was another one. Let me go down. Cusco as a llama though. Chucky.
No Shrek.
Daphne Blake. Yes, 100%. Stuart Little. Yoda. That's hilarious. Okay, time for my spiral. I'm gonna try to be fast.
What are you spiraling about today?
So this is the American Dollar Princesses.
Oh.
Have you ever heard of this?
Yeah, Northwest.
No. The real ones.
No, I haven't.
Okay. It was my first time ever hearing.
TikTok? Where'd you find?
The first time I ever heard of this term was while scrolling through the Ticket to Talk, a video from user Mind of Marissa, which she posts great content and in my opinion does not get the views she deserves for her fucking content. Like, so great content. Go follow and check it out. The first thing I heard her say was, do you know who this is? She was one of the American Dollar Princesses. I was like, what the fuck is a $1 million
What
princesses?
Is that? What's an ADP?
So I was immediately interested in learning about this, and I took a deep breath, put my hands together, bent my knees, feet together, dove straight into this deep dive.
I was like, where are we going with this?
Where are we going? Basically, American Dollar Princesses refer to the wealthy American women in the late 19th and 20th century that married into titled European families, basically exchanging their wealth for the title. Okay. So like they would go find...
their dowry was their family.
Yeah, exactly.
Money.
And based on records in books such as Titled Americans from 1915, by the end of this kind of trend, there were approximately 454 to upwards of 500 marriages between American women and European aristocrats, spanning from the Gilded Age to the Progressive Era. And according to modern day research and history, the Library of Congress claimed that the American heiresses married more than a third of the House of Lords.
Wow.
But specifically, I want to focus in on one of these women, which I heard from the TikToker I was telling you about, Mind of Marissa, Consuelo Vanderbilt.
She's a Vanderbilt?
Mm-hmm. Consuelo was born on March 2nd, 1877 in Manhattan, New York City, as the only daughter and firstborn child of William Kissam Vanderbilt, the New York railroad millionaire, and his wife, at the time his first wife, Southern Belle, woman suffrage activist and daughter of Murray Forbes Smith, Alva Erskine Smith. Consuelo was named after her godmother, Consuelo Iznaga, the Duchess of Manchester, a Cuban-American socialite married to a super rich British dude in history that we don't have the time to do a deep dive on, but if I had more time, I would. And essentially, their marriage was one of the first of the American dollar princesses because it was the clashing of old world aristocracy and new world money. From the very second that Consuelo was born, her mother, Alva, was determined to have her married just as her namesake did. So her mother essentially initiated this boot camp sort of lifestyle that would result in what she wanted for her daughter. By the time Consuelo was 8 years old, she was fluent in both German and French. Her mother made sure that she would get the very best education by having her schooled at home and hiring 2 governesses and so many tutors to teach her. She was required by her mother to wear a steel rod down her spine that fastened around her waist and cuffed over her shoulders to keep her posture perfect.
See, I wish my mother did that.
Me too.
Opportunity missed.
And was whipped by her mother for any and all minor mess ups that she had because she was held at a higher standard. Each day, Consuelo would have lessons on literature, history, science, math, and Latin. Then she would go to her music lesson. Following that, she would go to Central Park for an hour of exercise before dinner. Consuelo would be dressed to the nines every single day, hair, makeup done, along with several pieces of fine jewelry. And if Consuelo ever contested to an outfit that her mother had picked out for her to wear, she would be severely punished. Once Consuelo was old enough and proved to her mother that she was good enough to be married or like to go into society, her mother, Alva, took Consuelo to Europe where she met with several potential, quote, title-bearing suitors. And after her first trip, Alva received at least 5 proposals for Consuelo's hand in marriage. Well, of the 5, there was only one that Alva saw fit for her daughter. So she took this proposal to Consuelo and said, how do you feel? It was a proposal from Prince Francis Joseph of Battenberg. However, Consuelo said hell no because when she met him, she had a, quote, instant aversion to him.
Oh.
Slay. But those first 5 proposals were just the beginning of hundreds of proposals to the gorgeous Consuelo. She was considered one of the most gorgeous and eligible girls in the entire world by the time she made her debut into society. In fact, the literal author of Peter Pan, playwright Sir James Barry, said, quote, I would stand all day in the streets to see Consuelo get into her carriage. Creep, because she was literally a teenager, but slay for her, you know. Either way, Consuelo knew her worth in terms of not only just money, but like how amazing she was. So she refused to settle for anything less than the best when it came to her future husband. Her mother then set up a meeting between Consuelo and a very in-depth but highly titled 9th Duke of Marlborough, Chatelaine of Blenheim Palace, Charles Spencer Churchill.
Oh, shit.
Through a matchmaker named Lady Paget, who was the wife of Arthur Paget. I know this person in history, and y'all are going to be like, you're not pronouncing that right. I know. He was the best of the best, this Duke. So much so that Alva literally lost her fucking shit and was like, you got a proposal from the Duke, you're marrying the Duke. Point blank, period. Moving on.
You don't have an option.
But for reasons unknown to Alva, Consuelo refused, like freaked out and was like, fuck no, I'm not marrying him. Well, the real reason why was because she was secretly engaged to this American socialite 15 years older than her named Winthrop Rutherford.
Why do I know that name?
I know the name too. I don't know why. Either way, we didn't have time to do the deep dives, or we would. I'm almost tempted to fucking cancel this and use this as a case because it's crazy.
Rutherford, like the shopping malls, right? Like the Rutherfords?
Maybe. I don't know. It's
Wasn't that
the F-U-R-D one.
Oh.
Yeah, not the Ford, Rutherford. Either way, he was 15 years older than her. They were secretly engaged. And yes, she was still a teenager. Her mother finds out about this because I guess she's like, no, I don't love him. I love Rutherford. And Consuelo is like, look, mom, I love him. I'm going to marry him today. I'm leaving. I'm going to go marry him. And was like about to leave to go secretly elope with this guy. Alva freaks the fuck out, locks her daughter, Consuelo, into her room with 24-hour security and tells her that if she leaves, she will personally murder Rutherford.
Oh my God.
That's what her mom tells her.
You're marrying the Duke, bitch.
Crazy. Now, at this point, Alva tells Consuelo that she will marry the Duke and that there are no questions about it, point blank, period.
So sad.
It was not a request, it was an order, which Consuelo refused. She was like, I'm not. You can't force me to marry him, so I'm not going to. Well, this like tiff between the two of them nearly kills Alva. Like, she gets so sick. She's in the hospital, like about to die on transplant list and shit. I don't know if they were doing transplants, but like, that's what I'm saying. Like, she was bad, about to die, until Consuelo comes to her mom and says, if this is your dying wish, I will marry him. And miraculously, Alva was feeling fucking great. She was up, planning a wedding, ready to go. Consuelo married the 9th Duke of Marlborough at St. Thomas Church in Manhattan on November 6, 1895. While standing at the altar, it is reported that she sobbed behind her veil the entire ceremony. Yet the show had to go on according to her mother, so she sucked it up and did it. And pretty much the Duke was doing the exact same thing because he was in love with this woman from England that he was forced to leave behind because his family was dying financially and they needed the Vanderbilt money. Consuelo and the Duke would go on to have 2 sons. John Albert Edward William Spencer Churchill,
Every first name
who was the Marquis of Blandford, and later the 10th Duke of Marlborough and the godson of future King Edward VII. She had him in 1897. Clearly he was a favorite because the second child is Lord Ivor Charles Spencer Churchill, and he was, the only thing I know about him is he was born in 1898.
Well, and he got 3 names and the first one got 12.
Right, and his godfather is definitely
didn't they do that? No, I'm making this up, but didn't they do a bunch of names because then they get to pick one when they claim their title? I think that's
yeah,
that
you
was
can
common,
pick the one you want to go
and
to,
then you get to pick like
yeah.
specifically more royal family like kings. You'd be like Charles Spencer, Edward,
definitely
Tim the 8th, and you would pick King Tim.
Exactly.
No one picked Tim.
No one was picking Tim. Poor Tim. Consuelo was so loved by everyone, but specifically the poor and less fortunate people that lived on and around her and her husband's estate. She would go visit them often, just like hang out and talk to them and get to know them, like very Princess Diana. She would pay for things that they needed, give them gifts like just randomly that made her think of them, and helped as much as she could with anything that they needed. And this led to her becoming really, really involved in philanthropic projects, specifically anything that centered around women and children, specifically the women. She was all about helping moms, women, all of the above, education for women. Then a bunch of crazy shit starts going down in 1900. Basically, she goes to her husband and she's like, look, babe, I don't love you. I still love Rutherford. I still want to marry him. I know where he's at. I don't want to be titled. I don't want to be rich. I just want to be happy. And we're not happy. Neither of us are. And he's like, I'm happy. I love you. And she's like, well, I'm not
reciprocated.
And he says, well, how about this? How about you go find him, track him down since you don't know where he is. Spoiler alert, she knows where he's at. She's been seeing that motherfucker. How about you see how you feel with him and come back, and I'm sure you're going to realize that you love me more and you love the family and the life that we have. So she goes. Really cool of him to be like, just go fuck him once and see.
Go. Trial period.
So she goes to meet Rutherford for 2 weeks in Paris. They're hanging out, and at the end she's like, let's elope. I want to get married. He told me just to see how I feel. I still love you. I want to get married to you. He says no. You made your bed,
now lay in it.
With this man. She's heartbroken. So she comes home sobbing, like wanting to cry to her husband. He said no. He didn't love me.
He didn't want to marry me.
Well, her husband, the Duke, is not there when she gets back. Come to find out, he went to go hang out. He was so upset by this. He had to go hang out with his cousin, Winston Churchill, in South Africa for 6 months.
Oh my God.
So during the 6 months that he's gone, she starts having affairs, like affair after affair after affair after affair. But specifically, she had an affair with one of her husband's cousins. So maybe Winston Churchill's brother. Then she has like 2 other ones. But when he gets back, she admits the cousin one and like I think a few other to her husband after not seeing him for 6 months. And he is just like crushed. And in that, she also admits that she had been seeing Rutherford for like 2 years at least before that 1900s Paris 2-week getaway. And at this point, they kind of become roommates more than husband and wife because Duke puts 2 and 2 together that she started seeing Rutherford again around the same time that she got pregnant with their second son got no titles.
Bastard.
Yeah. So either way, they're just now roommates, not husband and wife. They're pretty much separated, just living together. The Duke falls in love with this like eccentric American woman from the upper middle class who was like incredibly intelligent and just like so in the circles. Her name was Gladys Deacon. They ended up getting married later. But Consuelo falls in love.
I know that name too.
Me too. Falls in love with another man that she had an affair with named Charles Van Tempest Stewart, aka the 8th Marquis of Londonderry. She then plans to elope with him after she separates officially with the Duke in 1906, but they didn't officially get divorced until 1921. Spoiler alert, she doesn't end up marrying the Charles dude because it doesn't work out, so she goes home to her parents for a little while. At this point, Alva, Consuelo's mom, has like kind of gotten a fucking grip, and she's like, I just want you to be happy, to be honest. Like, you did what you needed to do. You were the highest bitch in society. Like, I just want you to be happy.
You're a train wreck right now.
Exactly. And so she ends up having a really good relationship with her mom later in her mom's life. And then she falls in love with her second husband, who she married on July 4th, 1921. His name was Lieutenant Colonel Jacques Balson, who was a record-breaking French balloon, aircraft, and hydroplane pilot that worked for the fucking Wright brothers, who was the younger brother of the earliest collector and lover of Coco Chanel.
No shit.
And they were happily married until Jacques died at the age of 88 in 1956. Consuelo died on December 6th of 1964 at the age of 87 in her Southampton home in New York. She was buried in the churchyard of St. Martin's Church in Oxfordshire, which is where her youngest son was buried. And her estate was estimated to be just at or below $2 million at the time of her death, because the majority of her income at that point had been placed into trust for her living son and for the family of her late son. However, Consuelo left the majority of her personal estate, which included all of her jewels, jewelry, and fine threads, along with her home in Southampton, to her eldest granddaughter, Lady Sarah. And
Lady
that
Sarah.
is the one of the American dollar princesses.
So why are they called that though?
Because American dollar, they had money.
And
princesses, they would go get royal titles. Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, there's 454 of them. We could go through a whole list of them. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. I can't believe I've never heard of it.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
All right, love you guys.
Love you.
See you Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.